Back with Jason Simpson, 588-SNAP. You can give them a call, and Snappy Tomato Pizza will deliver tonight. They'll take care of you. Chris Brinkley here. The UT Martin football team set to take on Southeast Missouri. That's a 6 o'clock start, as you heard us talking about in Cape Girardeau. I can get there in about an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, eat at Lambert's on the way, have a big time. They even got a really cool Cajun restaurant there in Cape Girardeau. Come out and support the Skyhawks. One thing you certainly notice, Coach, I do, is the fans that travel with us. You got the players, parents. That's just awesome to see them there.
You know, even on the Boise state trip, that was neat to see, for the different fans that went with us. And I was telling Julie was helping me read my emails and return some emails the other day. And besides seeing your players grow and seeing the community rally around your team, there's nothing that's more rewarding is to see fans and alumni that travel with us, or follow us. Okay, and because you look, Central Arkansas had a decent following.
They did.
But watch it when whether it be Tennessee Tech or Murray or anybody else comes here and see how many people actually sit on that visitor side, supporting besides parents. And so, man, when I get emails, Chris, from former alums that just say, "Hey, I was at the game," and travel whether they lived in Martin or they live in another state, and they came to that game that was close to them. And excited about the program, and certainly, says Coach, it's awesome to be able to walk around, stick our chest out. We're so proud of the program. That's very rewarding, and I appreciate it.
And and I see it more in basketball because you're closer to the fans and we're inside. But I know for their fans, like when I go to Eastern Kentucky, there's a lady that's always at every game. She's at their football games too, and I remember her because she's always there every single time. And there's a lady at Eastern Illinois, and there's a guy that always welcomes us when we go to Tennessee State. And you're the same way, even though you're going into the locker room. You get to know these folks from the other schools and kind of develop not an artificial relationship, but a distant relationship with them, I guess.
Right. In football, I don't get a chance to, because we're in the locker room, we're on the field, and the foul.
You're just not as close.
Right. And I tell you, I was watching our wide copy from the game the other day, and being the coach here for 8 years, and I don't know if we've ever played a game, especially a big game, at home, and there's not a touchdown that's scored that I don't see Ray Parker on the side of the
fence. No, you do. Absolutely.
I don't know. I guess he follows the ball, right? But because I love watching our reaction of our players. Yeah. Okay, and I kind of talked about that the other morning at the coach's donuts, and we blocked the field goal. And I paused it and I said, "Look at all these, this guy's a red shirt here. Look at his reaction. And that's neat to see kids that actually did not play in the game that it's our saying is right, Skyhawks above me. And that was a Skyhawks above me moment for guys that didn't play and stuff. But there's Ray. There's
you know what, though? And I usually take Ray home after the games because he likes to stay that late.
Yeah.
And we leave when the players and you guys leave also because we're there a little bit later. But Ray will tell you all about the game.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's neat.
He'll tell you what the score was and when you scored and everything else. Coach, let's look back at Saturday's Ohio Valley Conference games. We'll start. I know some of these you know more about than others. Ohio defeating Austin Peay 38-0.
Yeah, Austin Peay. Their schedule's just been brutal as well, and I'm sure they'll be ready to get into conference play.
Southern Illinois beat Southeast Missouri. They played that one in St. Louis, 36-19, the final.
Yeah, it was at Busch Stadium, and one of the players was telling me today that one of our players would, I think on Yahoo Sports or something, it's just really being brutal from the Cardinals, that they're just really upset about the turf, the outfield. Because you can see it on tape, the turf is just coming up. I'm sure it didn't leave it in good shape. But,
so that might not ever happen again.
Yeah, I don't think we better call them and ask for a game up there. I don't think they'll go for it.
Jacksonville State beats Georgia State 32-26 at Georgia State. This one goes to overtime.
Yeah, Georgia State's struggling, so I'm sure it's good for. Georgia State's got 85 scholarships, so the rest of us has 63. I mean, they're 1A. So the Chattanooga beat them, Jacksonville State beat them. Don't know really how good Jacksonville State is, but another 3-0.
I feel the same. I can't get a read on Murray this year. They lose to Bowling Green 48-7.
Yeah, they got Bowling Green and Missouri. It's been their 2 losses, right? And they beat, I think, Campbellsville. So I guess they're 1-2, and you'll start learning more about all of us as the weeks come.
Northern Illinois wins over Eastern Illinois 43-39. That was at Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I mean they had them on the road. They scored the first 20 points. EIU did. And the quarterback and the wideouts were just phenomenal, and they had a chance to win it. They really did. I watched the game earlier today, and that's our last game of the year. That'll be that's a playoff game. We'll worry about that one, but I think they're throwing for like 420 a game right now.
Morehead State now in the Ohio Valley Conference, but not in football, loses to Eastern Kentucky 56-24 at Morehead, about an hour drive for EKU. Those two teams are rivals.
Yeah, I wish Morehead would come here. I wish we could get them to play us, but I understand non-scholarship in football. But EKU will be there at the end somehow, some way. They always are.
And Tennessee State wins over Tennessee Tech 41-21.
Don't know how good Tennessee State is, but I know they returned 9 or 10 starters on defense. And they got the quarterback back off suspension, so obviously they're playing pretty well.
Matchups coming up this weekend. Indiana State's at Tennessee Tech. You got Murray at Jacksonville State. Tennessee State facing Central State. And I'll be looking forward to the Eastern Kentucky at Eastern Illinois game. That should be a good one.
Yeah, it will be, because that's it's just going to be hard. It's at Eastern Illinois, and that quarterback's playing really, really well.
Let's talk a little bit about Southeast Missouri, Coach, here as we wrap things up from Snappy Tomato Pizza. I know you got practice tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yep, 7 o'clock practice. And the Southeast Missouri team with games against Ole Miss, Southeastern Louisiana, and then they're coming off that Southern Illinois game. What do we know about this team?
Well, they have really improved since game one. I mean, they played Southeast Louisiana game one. They got beat pretty good, and their defense really just struggled. They didn't line up right, and I know. So Tony got that fixed. Head coach, Coach Samuels, been doing this a long time, a lot longer than me, and so they looked against Ole Miss. They were much improved. Now that score's 31-13, and what's impressive about it is that in the second half, Ole Miss didn't score a point, and Southeast Missouri scored 13. So you're looking for moral victories. So it's 31-13, and you won the second half 13-0. And you say, well, they played their twos and their threes, which they did. Okay, but those are still SEC caliber athletes. And I show you on tape, and it's not that impressive from an Ole Miss standpoint. And that's the same Ole Miss team that went and beat Texas, 6 days later. And so they got better. Then they go to Southern Illinois this week, who went in double overtime with Eastern Illinois.
Right.
Okay, yep. And beat them, and Eastern Illinois beat them 40-37 in double overtime. And it's 19-19 in the third quarter. Southeast Missouri is tied with them. And so just couldn't get over the hump, turnover here or there, and they ended up getting beat 30-something to 19. But what you see, they've changed quarterbacks. They threw for 300-something yards. That's the first time that I think that Tony's ever been the head coach that they haven't rushed for over 100-something yards. So what will they do this week? Will they go back to the running game? Will they stay in this throwing fest that they did this week? We'll have to see. But defensively, they're starting to get lined up correctly, and they're making you earn every yard that you get. And they're not just totally stopping you and stoning you, but you turn the ball over, you give up a sack, you get a penalty, and then that's when you're going to be in a dogfight in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I'm excited in the non-conference games. I think it's challenging at your level to schedule teams that are OVC equivalent teams.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you've already played 2 top 25 teams and then Boise. But it's just good to be back in the league now and playing.
Well, it kind of is. You kind of know what to expect,
right.
And you grind it out. But our challenge is this, and I tell our team is this. Our challenge is to, whether it's Boise State, whether it's Southeast Missouri, or whether it's Jacksonville State the next week, my goal and my job is to make sure that our team is playing to a certain standard.
Mm-hmm.
You're not playing down to your opponent. You're not playing up to your opponent. You're playing to a certain standard. You're playing to dominate your opponent, and you're playing, with a lot of tempo, with a lot of great body language, a lot of effort, and a lot of execution. And then you look up at the scoreboard in the fourth quarter.
Yep. All right, Coach, we'll see you Saturday.
All right, sounds good.
Looking forward to the game against the Ohio Valley Conference member Southeast Missouri. Again, it's a 6 o'clock kickoff. We'll go on air at 5:30. Come out to the game and watch UT Martin. We'll have Coach Simpson on our pregame show, on the First State pregame show, and we'll look at Southeast Missouri a little bit more with that. As Skyhawk Talk continues, we'll return in a moment from Snappy on the Skyhawk Sports Network.
I'm Jimmy Slaughter from JD Distributors. We're a family-owned business with a strong emphasis on customer service and satisfaction.